Warning, this vlog is political. Please stop watching. If you are the kind of person who comments about this kind of crap, I don't want to hear it. This is just me spewing some thoughts. Dumbest name on YouTube. So I'm reading a blog called the Belmont Club, and they have a post up. It's entitled "The Jealousy of the Gods," and I really like what this post says. I'm going to put a link in the description below. What this man is talking about. Why do Democrats continue to help the unions even when unions really just aren't working anymore? Why do Republicans constantly lean towards the religious right even when, to be honest, that's not working for them anymore? Why do people fight the same old battles? Why do people constantly push for the same old things? Well, because it worked at some point in the past, and that's the only game they've got. Basically, that's it. People have fought these battles before. They don't want to fight them again. They want to go home, eat a meal, go to sleep, and they want to. Well, they don't want to have to deal with the macro situation. They don't want to deal with the fact that the world changes every day. Right now, the current president has spent more money than all the presidents since World War II combined. To do what? To create jobs? They would have done better if they had just handed the money to people. With the stipulation, you have to spend it. You can't save it. You have 30 days to spend this money, or we're going to take it away from you and give it to someone else. That would help the economy better than what they've done to stimulate jobs. The Republicans constantly get themselves mired down in these BS little fights about what people do with their sexuality, instead of saying, stop spending money. We need to stop spending money. One point that's made in the article below on Belmont Post is how quickly governments fall. I mean, we've seen governments, how quickly they fall, and the examples are in the article attached. That it doesn't happen over a period of decades. It happens over a period of hours in some cases. All of a sudden, bam, the premise upon which your government was based dissolves, and therefore the government topples like a house built on sand. There's an old saying, no man is an island. In other words, no one can survive on their own forever. You will need something from someone else. And it's true about the world. I mean, what we call civilization is a bunch of people who have agreed to work together to get things done. When that falls apart, well, there's nothing left but baseball bat. So what's going to happen? Well, I have no idea. If things get bad enough, the infrastructure is going to start falling apart. And the first part of the infrastructure I think people would notice falling apart are gas stations not having gasoline. I remember during the storms, that was one of the first things that went dead, was the fact that all the gas stations ran out of gas, so you couldn't put gas in your car. Then the power goes out, and then of course you can't get to the internet, and the cell phones go dead because nobody's maintaining the cell phone towers because they've all bugged out. Well, I imagine something like that happening should there be a fall of infrastructure. And where would you go? I mean, if it's the whole country happening all at once, there wouldn't be anywhere to go. There would be nowhere left to run. These are the sorts of scenarios that people plan for. They want to have water on hand. They want to have food on hand. They want to have protection on hand. They want to have a defensible location in their home. I don't know. I'm not sure any of that would really matter, because I don't foresee it being a total collapse of society. I foresee it being a grab of the people who are in power to stay in power. Because once they realize that they have gone so far off the deep end when it comes to the status quo and feeding things like the unions and feeding things like the religious right, once they figure out that this no longer works, they will grab at the most obvious thing that they think might work in order to keep power, in order to keep what they call society, to keep a society together. And that will be force. That's what always happens. It happened even just recently. The first thing that happens when you have people bringing society to a halt is you have a crackdown on those people. It's happened in 15 countries recently. Well, I'm exaggerating. It's happened in several countries recently. It will happen anywhere where the people who are in charge foresee a breakdown of what has worked in the past. They always resort to the same thing: force. Stop and think about what a politician does for a living. They get elected. That's really what they're all about. If an incumbent decides that what the incumbent has been doing, what got him elected, is no longer working, then that incumbent won't get reelected, because the people who voted him into office will sit down and say, "Well, that's not that's not what I was voting for." They'll find someone else who achieves the status quo. So if something does happen that requires new thought, the incumbent has to stop and think, well, okay, things have to change. Things have to make sense. So we can't just keep doing the same old thing. And they're taking a huge risk at this point because the status quo got you elected. So the reason politicians continuously make stupid decisions, the same stupid decisions over and over again, and support the same wrong people over and over again, is because it works. It works until it doesn't. It's one of those things where it seems like the train's chugging along just fine until it slams into a brick wall. Pandering to interest group X is built in. The reason politicians do this is because they have to. They don't have a choice. They have to do it to exist. It's part of their... It's why they're there, really. If a politician gets elected on this huge, big problem, oh, we're going to fix such and such. If they actually fix such and such, then why do the people need them to be around? So they have a very important, powerful desire not to fix whatever such and such was, not to fix that problem. Because if they fix it, they could very well be out of a job. So they don't dare fix anything.